Hey.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the first ever LinkedIn local live event. Uh, we're calling it local because you can watch it from the coziness of your home. My name is Manja. I will be your host. I hope you can see us. Before we start, just write us in the comments in the chat. Uh, can you see us? And where are you writing or watching us from? So we can see if everything is okay. Here with me, I have the four great people, great professionals, Marko, Manja, and Igor. I will tell you first few things about the topic that we're going to go through today. Then each of them will tell a little bit something about them and present themselves. Write me in comments if you can see us clearly, if you can hear us clearly, and where are you writing, where are you watching us from? Hello from Novi Sad. Hello from Novi Sad back. Okay, so today's topic is Gornji Milanovac. Nice. Today's topic is an interesting one for me. I was just talking with Manja, Marko, and Igor before we went live. That this topic became interesting to me a long time ago. But when I was listening to the CMO of Adobe and how they changed the whole company based on using data to increase creativity and to help creative people be better at what they do. I thought, okay, let's gather some knowledgeable people here and talk about the topic. How is it going in Kosovska Mitrovica and Gornji Milanovac? Is it hot like it's in Novi Sad? Probably.
It's hot everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go one by one. Manja, you are the lady, so you have
the privilege of being the first.
You have to lead to present yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So, hello everyone. Thank you for watching us live now and having your free time to watch us. So, like, I'm one of the first women in data science and machine learning in Serbia in Balkans. So, I have my own company, machine learning company here in Serbia. So currently, I'm on a mission. I call it. I want to be a Forbes under 30. So I have 3 years to become Forbes under 30. I work on several projects from MarTech, AdTech, FinTech, LowTech. Now we are developing our first startup in LowTech. It's called Piper IE. So you will hear about it in a couple of months because it will be live. I'm also working for US government as a natural language processing advisor. So I'm doing digitalization of all foster care and using machine learning and especially natural language processing to help them in digitalization of their whole system. So I'm also like a speaker and author. I have one course and I'm now developing my book that will be published by the end of this year. And I'm also a speaker on different conferences in the field of machine learning and data science. And also, like, before diving deep into the data science and machine learning, I was doing marketing for corporations and for different government departments. So I mix like creativity and digging deep with Python. So it's really interesting field. And I can say that I really love to do data science and machine learning and have a small team of people who are working with me together. And I have a few people who are working with me from other parts of the countries, like from US, from London, from Australia. So that's all about me. So maybe someone else can take charge now.
Yeah, that's some of biography from someone who is considered to be young, right? A motivation for even for all of us who are a bit older. superwoman, right? That's the right descriptions, as Radmila says. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Manja. Marko, will you be the next one?
Yeah, sure, not a problem. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this talk. Hope you will hear something interesting and hope we have interesting thing to share with you. A little bit about me. I'm currently a product marketing manager at GoDaddy. GoDaddy is the world #1 domain register. But beside that, GoDaddy has everything that you possibly can need for your online presence. So we kind of went beyond domains into hosting, into online marketing, into sales services, web design services, and we even have the largest program for web designers and developers called GoDaddy Pro. A little bit more about me. I actually started working for a local company in Belgrade called Devana, and we were purchased by GoDaddy in 2016. I was specifically acquired to join the team as somebody who was in charge of Google Analytics in general later, and digital marketing, but kind of went through different roles in the company. Since I'm now also in charge for content efforts, I think I can bridge that gap between content creation and data analytics. Our company invests a lot into data when it comes to making decisions. And we have quite a robust system that incorporates data from multiple sources, kind of puts that all in a Hadoop, and then we use Tableau to visualize a lot of data that we gather from almost all of our digital touch points. I'll be happy to share that with you later, and a couple of surprises as well. That's it from me, and I'm giving the torch to Igor.
Perfectly. As Marko said, we will have few offers and few invitations for all of you at the end. So this is the invitation for you to stay until the end of the webinar, so you can share some specific offers, so you can widen your knowledge here and have more value. I mean, that's the only reason why we are doing this LinkedIn local online live events. Igor, you are the next one. Igor has a problem with his camera, so I hope you won't mind him being like this. Igor, go ahead.
Camera, it works perfectly on my screen, as you've already seen that. Hi everyone, I'm Igor. I'm old enough. You don't need to know how old I am. I work as a graphic designer.
Maybe you can try to pull out your camera like this.
Hold on. Does this work?
No.
No. Here it is.
Yeah.
Probably better. I'm Igor. I work as a graphic designer at Fox Media House. I'm also the co-founder there. When I'm not working that at home, I'm a teacher, a computer science teacher at the international school in Skopje. I've been working graphic design for 10 years, 11 years now, actually. It's my passion, my desire, and my love. And whatever I try to make, I basically try to make it the best it can be. I have experience in visualizing data through infographics, and it's what I believe is the best way to show someone a very specific set of data that you have, and to make it more interesting for someone to access it, and of course, to see it, read it, and understand it better. Other than that, I enjoy sports and activities, but you don't need to know that. That's it. I'm extremely short. I like being short.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, let's dive into the topic. What I'm seeing, being a director of operation in default design, and before that being the GM of the US Canada-based marketing agency, I'm looking at the analytics and the data, and on the other hand, I'm looking at what each member of the team is doing, like the designer, the copywriter, the project manager, and I'm seeing that data is becoming more and more important. I think we can all agree that there seems to be some sort of unspoken consensus among marketing professionals, but not only among marketing professionals, that data and creativity are somehow complete opposites. Data is rational, creativity is irrational. Data is, let's say, knowledge. Creativity is a product of imagination. Data is a certainty. Creativity is definitely not a certainty. So a question to all of you, are those two mutually exclusive?
Well, if I may start. Well, they're not excluded. Everyone is creative. Everyone has its own way of showing their creativity. You just have to find your niche, if you will, and through that you will find a way to channel your creativity into something specific. Of course, nothing starts right from the beginning, and voila, you have it. You have the right product. You have everything completed, everything done. People are satisfied, right? That is the absolute perfect scenario, which usually never happens, truth be told. Once you get a set of data, you have to start working with it, modeling it, maybe make some clusters out of it. Once you get the data, you get the creativity juices on. My personal way of finding some creativity is through going with some maps, mind maps, if you will. Through mind maps, you can find quick creativity. Um, Creativity is certain in so sort of way. As I said, you just have to work your way through it. You can always find inspiration. It's 21st century. You have internet, right? All you have to do is Google some creative ideas, and something will be sparked, something original and something that you make it. So
Okay.
yeah.
I
Before
didn't
we
hear
hear
Igor, so I don't know. Hear him.
With a little bit of echo.
Oh, sorry.
okay, before we hear others, I want to ask everybody who is watching, what do you think? Are data and creativity mutually exclusive or not? Write in the comment. Let's see what do you have to say about it. Marko, what can you tell us?
Yeah, sure thing. I wouldn't say they're opposite, and I wouldn't even say that creativity is irrational. Data is definitely rational. Creativity, I would say, just simply transcends that rationality. And when we think about data and creativity, I would also say that it kind of correlates to human psychology. Since you said creativity is basically imagination and using creativity to express yourself and your ideas, data I can think has a synergy with that, because data can help us to increase that, to understand if we're achieving what we want with our creativity, with our expression. So I would say that data and creativity not need necessarily be on the opposite ends, but they can work hand in hand to increase creativity and to increase the effect that we want to achieve by offering content and creativity to somebody that's listening to what we need to and want to express.
Nicely said. Manja, you have something to add?
Yeah, so Marco mentioned that they are using like Tableau for visualization. So I can say that Tableau is like a perfect way that you can say that data is visualized, and then you can, a lot of people who don't know anything about data can see awesome visualizations for different topics, and then they can instantly understand everything behind the data, because like for almost 90% of people, they think about data is boring. But actually, when you combine data and creativity, you can like find your target audience, and like, for example, you can make different creative stuff for them, and actually data when it's combined with creativity, can make really awesome stuff. So the examples are maybe like a website called How Much Net. They're doing like a lot of visualizations for like how much money you need to live in different countries and so on. And you have the most famous girl who is doing data visualization. Her name is Nadine Bremer, and she's doing like visualization for Google and everything. So I think that you cannot exclude creativity and data, because I think that they go together. Only that way you can make really you can give the decisions based on data, and then you can merge it with creative teams and make the best like ads or like campaigns and a lot of stuff other that you can. And especially when it comes with machine learning, you can like personalize more and more for your clients and for your other like potential clients and so on. So I wouldn't say that it's excluded.
Thanks for backing up my opinion, and I'm glad that we all agree about it. Marko, do you have maybe more examples which can amplify that? Guys, before we dive into that, just want to tell you that you can ask any questions during the webinar. I will mark all of them and we will answer at the end. So feel free to ask anything. I'll make sure that we answer all of those questions. Thanks. Now, Marko.
Sure thing. Well, it can work both ways. Let me just start by how we can enhance our content with data. So quite simple example is we use a lot of data tracking systems to track our content efforts that we push online, whether is it videos or articles or our blog. And essentially we use Google Analytics is the most commonly used solution to track what's going online. I presume that most of the people that have a website or have a blog at some point came in contact with it. Since it's free, it offers unparalleled capabilities for a free feature. Of course, right now at the market, there are numerous features that can even go a step above that. So providing heat maps, providing causality flows, customer analytics, a lot of other stuff that go beyond just analytics of what's going on the website. But how do we use it specifically? Well, we track it to see the effects of our content. So how many, which is the most popular articles, which of the articles had the most people on them, how much time have they spent on specific articles? Did they went through the entire article? Did they simply cut off at any specific point? And again, a lot of that knowledge can be transferred to videos. Is all the videos watched from beginning to the end? How many users did the users come for multiple times? And based on that data, we can make decisions to improve our content, to understand what's working, what's not working, what's most interesting to our audience. And that actually is the bottom line, because we want to offer as much information, and we want that information to be relevant to the people that are listening or reading our content. So that, I would say, is the most cleanest example of how you can use data to enhance the content. And that way you can produce more content that's relevant. You can focus on the things that are most interesting to the end users. Basically, in that case, data simply helps you to make your content even better and relevant to the target audience. And I think Manja and Igor also mentioned the other way around. So when you have really good data, we both know that people are both remembering both auditory and visual sense. So they're different on our character and psychology. We can absorb information by listening, by seeing, by reading. And usually a combination of the three is the best one, but we're kind of mostly relying on our visual sense. In that way, we can use the data to present it in a visual way that will be simple to the user and easily absorbed. So instead of somebody going through huge amounts of data, we can crunch the data and prepare it visually that it is appealing to the audience. Again, we can understand that by using tracking methods. I think Igor would be the best to answer this, as I'm pretty sure he might have created some infographics in the past, so he can probably tell us more about how we can use visualization to represent data.
let's hear Igor.
Yeah, hope you can hear me.
Yes?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you start with a set of raw data. That set of raw data can come either from an application like Google Analytics, maybe some data that you obtained on paper. Doesn't have to be a set of data that's generated digitally. Maybe you've started a survey. So once you get all of the answers at the end of it, you certainly have to start with making it. Well, you can make it through, how to put it, through in a couple of ways. There are online makers. There's the good old Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop, whatever you prefer. But you have to structure it. Unless you structure the data that you have, there will be no sense in it. So you don't start from the end and mix things through. What's the beginning? How many, or if you have some demographic data, how many males, females you had in your survey, years range, where do they come from? That's just a couple of things that come into mind. The practical thing that we had here is the Tetovana Tochak, the critical mass event, which we had an infographic built for, in which we had about 20 to 25 questions asking our population here, how do they use the bicycle? Why won't they use bicycle if they don't use it? And we started from that point. Once we got the answers, we started making this nice little pie charts. But I presume that at one point someone has seen a set of data, and it's too dull to just make it pie chart and that's it. Everyone can make it. So we added this little bits. We had this extra fields in the questionnaire which said, give us some answer if you don't have one. And we had a little tinsy-wincy answers that were not related at all. That is some data that you can also use to make your data look more realistic and, well, not realistic, but more attractive by making it a little joke. So, for example, we had, because I don't have a bike, and we had a little illustration next to why don't you use a bike, an illustration of a person stealing a bike. Someone has stolen it. And it certainly had an impact. People had way more views, and they really said that they enjoyed how the data was structured. It was quick. Infographics are something that do that with data in a little nice manner that can work for you. Do we have any questions, by the way, from the public? I can see that.
Nothing for now.
Okay. Manja, experience with data and infographics, maybe?
Manja, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Igor asked if you maybe have some experience with using infographics and data.
Yeah, I was doing like a lot of visualization using Tableau. So I did visualizations and infographics a lot of time for different clients. I actually did like for Ifasi is one of the biggest like assurance companies in Europe, and I did like I visualized their boring data into fine visualizations, and all the board of directors they were like, oh, we instantly see the information about that. And I also did like it's a funny story I did about visualization for like money laundering, and I make it really it was looking really nice, and it was funny because they can instantly see which banks are like doing more money laundering than other banks so instantly. So it was like a nice visualization. And like also I did like visualization for healthcare. So I made the bubble score like going like this and down, and it was like life expectancy for people. So it was a really interesting visualization. So I did a lot of them, but like it's combination of data and visualization. So I really like it. And also like for my other clients, I also do that. Like the last section of every of my project is I'm doing visualization of everything that I did, all analytics or machine learning and everything. And they expect me that in 50 minutes I can show them and explain them and give them the insights and like information that they can instantly use. So it's really nice to have visualization, and it's really important to know how to make proper visualization, which like colors to use. Igor probably knows more about that, because at one point I was working with a whole UX design department and designers, because I'm not from that world. And then when we worked together, it was the best way of collaboration, because they knew which colors go with each other, and I knew which data is really important and we need to our clients need to see it. So it's also one department that is really good, like collaboration with design and data. And then you can tell the story to the clients and tell the story to your customers, because I think that that's it. Like, you need to tell a story. So in other words, if you don't find a way of your story, telling the story, then probably your company will be shut down in a pretty much close time.
Yeah, perfect examples. Thanks. You reminded me of little tool that we are using here when we are crafting the offers for our clients. We're using the tool called Funalytics. You can actually draw the funnels and follow the analytics, where people are coming from, how many of those people entered the funnel, how many of them went to the next step, how many of them did convert at the end. And actually, we are recording how we are creating the funnel, step by step, explaining. And now the Funalytics has an option. It's not live for all the users, only for the users who are there from the first day. It will be live for everybody else. But now you can use animation and really show like how the people are going through the funnel. It's great, so the customers can actually see how are you creating the funnels and how somebody who's entering the funnel can go from one step to the other, and they can actually see amount of work that you need to invest to give them results that they want. Just an example that came to my mind. And now I want to focus on a thing that now becomes overwhelming, maybe for so many people, that we have so much data all around us, and some people say that this maybe leaves human interpretation and creativity behind. So how do we choose which data is important for us and which data should we use for specific purposes? Igor? Can you hear me?
Microphone goes off. I'm here.
Okay, no problem.
So, can you come again with the question just once again, so I can write it down?
Yeah, I was just asking that we having too much data today. At least that's a statement that we can hear daily. So how do we choose which data are we actually going to use for our purposes, and how we do channel that data into some specific goals and targets?
Yeah. Had in back in 5-6 years ago, and the lecturer there said one thing that really stuck into my mind. He says, if you want to convert and to make bigger and better conversions, you really need to find whatever tickles the ear of the person that you're selling that to. So if we have a toothpaste, let's say, to sell, and we have a set of data that says that people didn't like how it looks on the package, but they really liked how it helped them clean their teeth, right? So we will use that set of data and say about 95% of the people really enjoyed how how their teeth were cleaned up after the treatment with our toothpaste. Yes, the data is big nowadays. You can have raw sets of data. I mean, if you can see them online constantly. We found that the phone companies having 95% of calls coming in from landlines. We have SMS structures and so on, but people will take a look at what you show them. So how do we find the perfect set of data? Well, survey for me is and always was the best way to filter out a certain set of data that I had. So I would put all of the questions that I have regarding that data online. How do you feel? Questions regarding how people feel about that data. What can they understand and what do they not understand from that data? That will be the first input. The second one will be maybe talking to your fellow colleagues and understanding, having a couple of points of view in the office usually is something that really works and something that helps you filter out the data. For example, we've had a couple of infographics built where we had too much data in it. And once you start reading through it, you'll see that they do not really work simply because they're too long and you will lose the clientele or the people that are reading it out. So shortening it or even maybe combining similar sets of data. So if you have 20 people that answered the same question in the same way, you can combine the question and use that same piece of data to really filter it out in one sort of way and to make it clearer for everyone to see it. What I've learned through time is that the longer the report is you have for the data, people will not enjoy reading it over time. So they will start reading it and somewhere half through they will say, well, this is too long, I can't go anymore. And that's something that really needs to be sorted out through filtering.
Okay, that's the example from the team, right? From the teamwork in the agency.
Teamwork in
What
the
do you
agency.
have to say about the topic?
Teamwork is something that always works and something that you always need to take care of.
Exactly. Marko, how do you analyze the data which you will then transfer to the, let's say, designer like Igor? How would you select which data are you going to use? Can you unmute?
Yeah, sure. I just turn it off so there is no echo when I speak. When analyzing any data, I would recommend both quantitative and qualitative analysis. As Manja previously said, the best way to transfer some knowledge or some data or some visualization is still through storytelling and using data to help you create that story and transfer that story is the best way to go. But I will always recommend analyzing both data and if that data is succeeding in what you're trying to do. So when Igor mentioned surveys, I always recommend to analyze that quantitative response, so what people answer to surveys, but always to follow up at least with friends, family, or users that are willing to answer some questions, to understand if the survey was actually understandable, if what's going on from the qualitative side behind the questions asked and the answers provided. You, of course, after every survey, you get a list of really big set of data based on the amount of questions, and you can easily get to the answers in a quantitative sense. So, like I said, analyze the pie chart. You simply have the end, how many responses went into each bracket. That's pretty simple. But what data should help you is paint the story. So when I'm actually delivering it to our designers for visualization, first you need to see which answers were relevant. You need to see how many statistically significant responses did you get, because if you received a really small amount of responses, that would not be the best representation of what you need to show up. Then I would actually talk to somebody, to a couple of people, to understand what would be the most relevant thing to show to the users or whoever you want to display this data to, whether those are shareholders, whether those are management or the end users. And then by picking what's most relevant and which data shows the most complete story of what you want to represent, then and only then I would deliver that. So both the data and the qualitative part to the designer, so it can be displayed in the most best visualization manner to incorporate the data, but like Igor suggested, not overwhelm the user with the amount of information.
And thanks. And Manja, I have a question for you, which is, I mean, you can add something to it, to Marko's and Igor's statement if you want. And
Yeah. So
when do you choose the right amount of ingredients for something to happen between data, creativity? How do you use the right amounts, and how do you actually create something out of those two things, or maybe even more?
I always when we choose the key KPIs or like key data that we need in to go with it, because when you got a raw data set, you need to see what are the key values that you need to include in your reports and so on. So I always have a person from the company who is there for a long time. It could be like someone from sales or marketing, or even a CEO who will give me the goals and visions that the company is having. So then based on our working together, we will see which key informations are really important for them, and we will track them. So that's the way how I'm doing that. And also I don't believe anymore in surveys, because I was doing a web scraping of all social media. LinkedIn also, I did Tinder. Yeah, I did Tinder. I have a bot there, so beware of it. And I saw it that people are actually lying on surveys. So when you do web scraping and seeing what people are liking, commenting, sharing, and if you look at Google Alerts and do something like what keywords are they ranking for and so on, you can see that people are actually responding differently to different campaigns. And also we use heat maps and we use face recognition. Like we show a couple of our like best customers, we show them the different advertisements before going into release. In Amazon, they call it like backward elimination or like backward engineering. So I was doing that. So before releasing everything, we do that. So, and we give them like to see everything from that. And then after that, I analyze how they responded to it. So it's a mix of like data and then including psychology. You probably all heard about neuromarketing. So it's a really nice department of data science. And we all know so that Elon Musk is introducing something new in that field. So I think that the crucial part in the beginning of every project is that you should choose the best key values to track, and then the data that you don't need you should throw away. And also yes, we can say that we have a lot of data nowadays, but actually when I was coming to different clients, like almost 70% of them, they don't have actually any kind of data, or they have a data that is not so good because it's garbage in, garbage out is a term that it isn't valuable. And sometimes a lot of people think that I'm a magician or I'm from Harry Potter and I can poof and then they will get the revenue. So it's not like that. So it's really important that try to like see the key values from it. So it's the toughest part of the project. So that first stage and the last stage when you are doing like the output or everything, like visualizing all the data and giving the insights. Because like for example, like on average every project is it's like time frame is 3 months or 4 months, and then you are doing like web scraping, doing different like machine learning algorithms and so on, and then you need to like present everything in 15 minutes and to visualize all the key metrics. So that isn't easy. But if you know how to do that, then you are really good at your job. So how you can do that is that you need to find the department that you are really good. So you have to have a background from that field. So I did like projects from fintech because I have a economics and business background. I did marketing because I have a background in marketing. And when you combine it with data, then you instantly know which one to choose and which one not to choose. For example, I cannot be really good in digital health because I don't know anything about medicine. But if I have someone in the team who knows that, then that person is really valuable. So I think that's the answer to that question.
Perfect. I want to add one more example, and it's the thing that we are right now doing with the LeadCon conference, and we have done it also last year in a different way. We are using a tool called Right Message to actually personalize the people's experience on the website, and then to first to qualify them, and then to classify them, and to give them the unique offer. What I want to say with that, let's say if you right now go to the leadcon.net website, you will see a little box on the right, which gives you few options to pick. If you choose one of them, it will instantly give you an offer what's good for you. Let's say if you are interested in education, in increasing online sales, or in maybe hiring an agency. Based on that answer, it will give you an offer. Also, the other way to use it is to use the source from which you came from. Let's say you click a link in an email, you click a link on a Facebook ad, or you came through the blog post that you found in Google search. Based on where you came from and based on the topic of that piece of content that you click to, we are changing the whole structure of the website based on what we know about you. So if we are selling like 4 products or 4 different services, we are not giving you to see all of them. We are giving you the chance to see only the ones that you said that you are interested in. What does it mean? It means that the headline, the head photo, the testimonials, the photos, everything's changing. You don't see 4 services, you get the offer only for one service, and we ask you to, we are trying to sell you only that one piece of service that you said that you are interested in. Also, retargeting them goes in the same way. And what's really interesting, last year we had affiliates. It was us from the team, some people from the media, and speakers. And all of them recorded a video just telling the reasons why they are attending LeadCon conference, and inviting others to come and join them. So if somebody came through their affiliate link, they didn't see Dimitri's or my video on the LeadCon conference page. They saw the link, the video from the person which affiliate link they clicked. So they get to see the more trust and more confidence because they trusted that person. They went after their offer, and then when they come to the website, here is again that person. So we are increasing conversions in that way. Just another example how we can also use data to maybe increase conversions on the website and classify our visitors. So
I have to add something with that because it's the same. Like for LinkedIn, I have my own like LinkedIn bot. So I have a system of personalizing messages to all people who are like contacted with me. So after the like instant when my bot is when they accept that person, they will receive a like personalized message from me. And it helped me because at these days I have a lot of people like sending me messages and so on, invitations, and it's not possible for me anymore to do it manually because I was doing that manually all the time. And it helped me because it can accept the invitations that are like, because I filter it, who are the people from which industries are interesting for me, so we can have a benefit from each other. So the bot will send them a message and increase my conversion. And like for like after that, I will text with the person and I will then propose a meeting and so on. So it helped me to have more conversions and to like not do a lot of manual work because I really love that personalization. So I'm doing that, and it helped me like to have more clients and not to waste my time on manually typing the different messages. And then actually like I type them, but it's different ways. So it helped me a lot. And I'm also using testing also different kind of algorithms on it. So it will be in progress. So we will see how it goes. But for now, it really helps me when we talk about LinkedIn.
Yeah, perfect example. I mean, I'm doing the same for a long time now, so it works great. I mean, not so many people are actually being kind when they connect with others and they present themselves in a right way tailored to that person. So
yeah,
just by being kind and really using few minutes just to see who that person is, it's a great benefit for that person.
Yeah, like actually a fun story. One guy from New York, he said that, oh my God, you are sending me a message and you don't want to sell me anything. So come on, go. Everybody is like selling me something, and you just wanted to say and you said like, if you need any help, you can ask me if in my field like machine learning and everything. I will answer you. And he asked me a question and I answered, and he was like, oh my God, you really did that. So you're so kind. And he was like, oh my God, people are not doing that. So it helped me to gain more customers, more clients, and more authority because I was putting my time in personalization and I really answered to all the questions.
Yeah, I mean, the one word I'm using is I'm delighted. I would be delighted to get to know more about you because I really like meeting people. It's the truth. And when they see that word, like I would be delighted to get to know something about you, they say, okay, hands down. That's
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, I have another way. I have a PS, and I say I want to share 5 random stuff about me. And the first one, I want to be Forbes under 30. I'm the first data science like entrepreneur, woman entrepreneur in Serbia. And the third one, I ran like 2 half marathons, and I was an ex-professional tennis player. And then people all answer me, and like 80% of them answer me with their 5 random stuff. So it's really interesting.
perfect. Love it. I may implement it if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Okay, guys. Igor, uh, we have a new client in the agency, in the company, wherever, and task project manager or whoever, the director of operation, whoever is giving you task, comes to you and tells you, okay, we need to create, we have this client, they give you like 2-3 sentences description about what they do, and they tell you we need to create like 40 40, 24 different kind of visuals. They want to have one goal with 4 of them, second goal with 8 of them, and others need to create brand awareness about it. So what do you ask for when they tell you that? Which information do you demand to get to start working or to actually go into it?
Oh, I have a big questionnaire set for them. Of course, we always get that kind of requirements. Hey, we want a design build with 2 sentences. We need a logo for our company. We need this set of data processed. What's the purpose of it? Why, for what purpose would you use this set of data that you're giving to me, or this design requirement that I have from you? To who should it appeal? You can't go 3 to 77 years old. I mean, of course, there are some products that are appealing to everyone, Lego, but you cannot appeal with your product to every single person in the world. So you need to have a tight group. For who are we building this? Are we building this for younger generation? In that case, we need to be a little bit more creative in adding some extra stuff that will catch the attention. For my personal experience, for everyone else older above 35 and more, from what I've seen, is that they want their set of data or their design to be crystal clear, without any extra things, nothing that will take off the eyes from what you have to build, and so on. But yes, when you get a really vague request with only 2 or 3 sentences, what follows up from my side as a designer on this is, what would you use it for? The years, to what age should this be distributed? Do you distribute this strictly for female or strictly for male clients? What is the purpose? Do you want to start selling more, or do you want to start just increasing your presence online? So that's something that really needs to go. For me personally, as Manja said before, I always ask if they have any color specific that they want to incorporate. Usually brand manuals state that their brand should have some specific color and nothing else. So if that has to be interpreted, it also has to go in. Afterwards, we just start brainstorming. In case our brainstorming goes south, we get stuck, then we continue with additional set of data, what they want to connect with in the future. How will they market it also? Is it going through email? Someone here, I saw it mentioned to communicate it through Facebook. But personally, if you have a set of data like infographics, a big infographic, a long one, you cannot have it put on Facebook, as when you click on it, it will just be teensy weensy line that will be invisible. So me personally, I will not use infographics on Facebook. I haven't seen it how it works on LinkedIn with images. So if it goes up as a small image, still it doesn't work. You need to channel that either through email or channel it through a website as a blog post, maybe on Medium or anywhere you can outreach to your potential prospects and future clients. So yeah, that will be it. Sorry?
That's a long process.
Always a long process. It's never a short one. As Manja said, someone is looking for a design for an hour, and it can't happen. It can never happen. If you want it quick, it will not work 100%. It will not work.
Yeah, guys, how do you like the webinar so far? Did you like what we talked about? Did you find the examples useful? If you have some examples or if you have some questions, go ahead and ask us. We're here and we're happy to answer to them. Manja, what I'm seeing right now is that some companies are letting the data lead the way, not their goals, not their. I mean, data is setting the goals. Data is being the leader, not the imagination, not what's behind the data. So how can we actually channel that and lead the data the way that we should?
Like it's really important that when you have a if you have a data scientist in your company, it's really important that it should be like horizontal. So you cannot have a data scientist only doing like data in marketing department. So data scientists should be included in every department. So because you have data in part of like administration, in marketing, in sales and everything. So you have to track data in every part of your departments, and data scientists need to work closely with the people from the departments who knows about that departments. So who are like experts in that field, and only in that way, when we like have a data scientist with technical skills and experience on different projects, and the person who is from that domain and has a domain knowledge, that's the best way you can you can use data in a really in a really great manner. If you don't do that, then you are wasting your money and time, because a lot of companies are getting data scientists into the companies, but actually they don't need them, because like sometimes you need first to gather data and then to have a data scientist in it, or sometimes you don't need even to have a data science team in your company. But like my process of doing like is the first I have a meeting with the clients, and then I can see, okay, I can help you or I cannot help you. So that's really important to have a process, and always they need to work together. Everybody needs to work together, and that's the only way that can be a good match for the company and for the whole, like for stakeholders and decision makers. And only that way we can like do that. And it's really important that the company and the decision makers, like CEOs and managers, know the key values and mission and vision of the company, and they need to know what are their core customers, who are the customers who are getting the most money in the company and who are not. And that way you can like know what are the key values and what to track and what not. In other words, if you don't know your customers and your target audience, and if you don't know what are your mission and vision and your goals for like 6 months and 1 year and 3 years, and like for like another 90 days, then you are not on the good track. Because if you don't know that, then any kind of algorithm and machine learning and deep learning cannot help you.
Perfect. Thanks, Marko.
Well, Manja actually covered it pretty well.
I need an answer to another question. So, where does data end and actually the creativity begins? Is there a moment where that happens, or how do you see it?
Well, I don't think there is any distinctive moment. Like I said, they are pretty much connected, and it works both ways. Data can enhance creativity and content, and again, content can be built on top of data. I don't think they have a definite line, but I would definitely say that content and creativity can be improved with data, and we kind of use it that way. So there is no fine line, but I would say at the moment when you use data to enhance what you currently have. So like we mentioned, Google Analytics as a good example. you need to publish some data, you need to publish some creative content in order to analyze it, to see how it's going on with the audience. And again, there is a fine line between asking them and analyzing their behavior. Both approaches have their own pros and cons, I would say. Once you do that, you can understand a little bit more, like Manja perfectly well explained. You need to know your audience, you need to know your product or your service, you need to know what's important. And once you do that, you can actually get to the art of asking the right questions, because I think everything starts with that. Without that, any survey, any analysis, any raw data is, I would say, not meaningless, but you would definitely not ask the right questions. And if you don't ask the right questions, then data can even hurt you or lead you in a different, let's say, direction. So you need to understand your subject, you need to understand what effects does it have, and then by asking the right questions, you're utilizing the data to increase your content and impact your creativity, to make sure that you're maximizing what you're publishing and what you're presenting to the target audience.
Perfect, thanks. I want to add one more thing. Marko, you mentioned it in the chat, and this is not only knowing. I mean, it's among knowing your audience, and this is knowing the communication channel your audience is using. I mean, these are the basic things, like knowing your audience and knowing your business, setting up your goals. And what I have seen so far is that maybe even up to 70–80% of the companies, no matter the how big or how small they are, they don't have a clue about those things. When you ask them to tell you clearly, they don't know. And communication channels, I want to add this because it's so important. People are choosing different communication channels because they want to be talked and addressed in a certain way. On Instagram, people want to be addressed in a certain way. On LinkedIn, they want to be approached professionally. On Facebook, well, maybe they want to be approached by the friends and family only. On Twitter, I don't know, I'm always using the example that Bruce Banner on Twitter will be Hulk. And on Facebook, he will be Bruce Banner. On LinkedIn, he will be Dr. Banner. So 3 different personalities in one, depending on the channel we are using. That's also determining the way that we are communicating, but also what is the goal of using the data and what do we want to achieve. I'm using seeing the examples now. Some of the companies that are really changing the narrative of the game, like I would say Drift. They're doing so many things, but I will mention only email marketing. Depending on what they want to achieve with a certain email, that's how they relax the tone of voice and the way the email is crafted. So they would put a GIF of they applauding you if you have signed up for their event, or they will tell you if the event is offline, like a photo of them all drinking beer, waiting for you to have a beer after the event, or just knowing your audience and giving them the specific things that they do. I'm always using Drift because they created the community. They get to know people who they wanted to target. So the product managers and people who are around products. And they found out that nobody actually knows what those people are doing, what's their job. And they saw the community over there, they saw the opportunity, and they decided to give them the voice. So they created the community around them, and when they created the community, they say, okay, now is the time to come up with a product. So they create the whole new category of marketing, conversational marketing. It's the chatbots, And after that, now they are creating new ones like conversational video, when you can actually know when somebody is watching your video and trying to sell them based on the information that you have. But the foundation is the thing that is really important, and we should go from that point. I think we answered Alexander and Admilal's questions with all those things. I want to go slowly towards the end of the webinar and give you a chance to tell the audience everything that you wanted to say, but you didn't have a chance or you didn't say. So let's go one by one and start with Marko.
I'm going to share a little bit wider picture on how my company specifically uses data. Manja, I think, has a lot of contact with probably working contracts for specific departments and specific audiences and specific use cases. More and more companies are starting to use data systematically. So instead of just looking for the answer on a single question, a single use case, they start compiling data from numerous sources. So let me share an example. We have a specific Google Analytics code just tracking our blog. We have several Google Analytics tracking different parts of our website. And since our company is a bit bigger and has different sub-brands underneath, each one has its own Google Analytics. Connected to that, we're also tracking a lot of data in a backend, so which products are purchased from what location by which users. There's a ton of data flowing for all of our touch points into that big Hadoop repository, then can be utilized by our different BI teams. So like Manja suggested, we do have a lot of BI teams that are just working on analyzing and indexing data, and we have data teams just collecting the data for all data points. We do have our analytics team that then utilizes and creates specific reports. So like, for instance, financial reports or marketing reports or simply ad hoc reports that are required for a specific question. But we also have a couple of data scientists in our organizations, and they're actually trying to understand if there is some correlations or information that we are missing. Is there some sort of, let's say, causality between different events? And that's actually really good use, I would say, of that data science. So beyond the regular reporting and beyond the regular questions, to understand if there is some sort of pattern which can help us understand are our users better or our product better, and basically utilize that data to improve our content, improve our products, improve how we communicate with our end users. And I think your two examples were brilliantly showing how to do that. Like I said, with dynamic landing pages for the website. Basically, you know where the user is coming from, you know what would be best to display to that user. Either he trusts a specific brand or specific person, he wants to see a specific product, and you would of course serve that to him, as that increases the chances to convert. And that is one of the best examples how you can utilize data to improve your creativity and what you display to the user. Because again, that experience can even further be tailored, because if you're tracking that user, if you know what he likes, what he dislikes, what he contacted in the past, can even further tailor that experience by displaying this visualization that will be best for him, offering them specific things that would be the most valuable to him. And I would say that is a good example of how you can enhance your end result. If anybody has any questions, I would be happy to answer them as well.
Yeah, maybe you can answer instead of me answering Stefan's questions. If only online surveys give dishonest results, how to get the right data then?
Very good question. And both surveys and interviews, they're actually platforms where you can do interviews with end users. Yeah, we see a lot of times that users lie. Well, two things in surveys. They can lie, but their behavior usually doesn't lie. So you kind of have to correlate between surveys and data and what you're tracking. and then understand what actually is the truth. Also in interviews, there are a lot of tricks where you can actually understand if the users are lying. So there is a way to filter the data, and like Manja also suggested, you get a set of data, then you need to see which data you need to discard, because in a lot of cases, in surveys, in interviews, in any research, you'll either see a false response, a bad response, a lie, and you simply drop that data. You know it's not valuable, it's just going to mess with your results in the end. So you drop them and you analyze what you have.
Yeah, I'd also say it's important how you craft the questionnaire or the survey. Which questions are you asking, and is the answer that you are demanding clear? So are you asking the clear questions so people won't have assumptions of what they should answer, or if this is the right answer, this is the wrong? Just ask the specific questions and be as specific as possible. So this is how you actually get the right answers from the survey.
I would also like to add to this for the surveys that you should probably leave out the option where they fill in the blank for the answer. That is the most free way for them to lie, or to give you bogus information, or just to spam you out with whatever they can. That's what we've seen through most of our surveys. Just leave out the blank form where you type in your answer. You're in other. What do you mean? Be as Nemanja and Marko said, be as clear as possible with your questions. Ask for straight answers. Do not ask, if this happened, why did this happen? You don't have time. Surveys should be surveys, no longer than 3 minutes. Everything longer than 3 minutes is a questionnaire. That generates a lot of data, and it's really time consuming to go through that, scrape through that data, see what goes, what doesn't go, see what answers have been repeating themselves, and so on. What I've seen, and what Marko mentioned, is Google Analytics. Recently, I received a couple of emails from Google on a new product that they developed connected to Google Analytics called Google Data Studio, which is actually a really neat way for you to structure data and to make it really nice and visible for everyone in the company, not just for someone that understands and knows how to work with Google Analytics. So if you're reporting that from the creative side, of course, you can just select what you want to see and not channels from which people are coming if they're not interested in which channels they're coming, right? Not everyone wants to see that. Or the age or the location that they're coming from. The exact city and so on. So that's something that really caught up my eye, and I'm really looking forward into exploring a little bit more.
Okay, before we go to Manja, Igor, you wanted to share something with the audience, to give them an offer how you can help them.
Yeah, if anyone wants, actually, if anyone needs graphic design solutions, we're always open for work. Sometimes less than other times, but other than that, we're open for graphic design solutions and search engine optimization.
Perfect. Can you post maybe the link in the chat?
Yeah, it will come in a second on the chat here.
Okay, perfect. Marko?
Can I ask a question for Manja? Actually, when Igor mentioned Google Data Studio, I actually wanted to ask her if she can elaborate about differences between Google Data Studio and Tableau and Microsoft BI, and if there is a specific solution that she prefers.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I use Google Data Studio. It's not a new product. They launched it like, I think 2 years ago, I think so. So the disadvantages of Google Data Studio is that you have only some parts of things that you can do with your data because it's actually free. So you cannot do with a lot of stuff from it. Tableau is better in the terms that you can like connect Google Analytics, your databases, and everything that you have with Tableau and then do the visualizations and then do different statistical analysis with it. But of course, again, Tableau has also parts that you cannot do because it's a software and they developed and have filters only that they're included there. So there's also a way that you can use like decision tree JavaScript to do that, and then you can do different statistical analysis and visualization different from Tableau. And you have, on another hand, you have a Power BI, who is another data visualization like software. And the problem with Power BI is that more complicated stuff that you need to do, you cannot do so good, and it's slower than Tableau. So that's the differences between them. And also, like when I began to work in a data science, I was choosing which one to go for it. So I choose it Tableau because they have better visualization. Like it's nicer for the clients because clients don't know anything about data. So they don't know shit. So they only want results. So they talk in terms of revenue, profit, and can you minimize my costs? So they want at the end nice visualization and key information on it. So I'm using Tableau because of that, because you have the key information, the visualization are nice, and then clients respond really nice to it. And you have interactivity there, so you can share a view with your clients and they can see it like on their desktop and so on. So there is a lot of features there. But you cannot say that every of these products are perfect. Every one has like disadvantages and advantages. It depends how much money you have on your data visualization team, what's your budget, and what kind of like data you have and you want to do that. If you are in the beginning of collecting data, then Google Data Studio is good for you. But if you want to go deeper and deeper, you should use Tableau. And I also use like Mixpanel for tracking what are people doing on our websites. And I'm also using like heat maps, different heat maps for tracking what are people doing on our websites. And I'm doing like web scraping and a lot of other stuff in Python so that you don't have in any kind of products. So it's a mixture of everything. So did I answer to your question?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
Great.
For the users, I've also prepared a special offer. Like you said, I'm from GoDaddy, and we have a ton of products. So I kind of wanted to include something that will give you value at the end of this meeting. So let me just paste it for you in the chat. It's again, it went bad. It's a 30% off on any GoDaddy product. So you just use this code at the end of the checkout, and you'll receive 30% off of any new product that you purchase over GoDaddy. Hopefully that will be useful if you're in need of domains, hosting, online marketing, SEO solutions, or just simple tools for your online presence.
Perfect, thank you. One thing I want to mention that I think I didn't mention is that LinkedIn local online events will happen each first Thursday of the month. So I think 5th of September is the next one. I'll try in the meantime to craft these webinars into articles, to transfer some of the things that we are talking about here, so the people who are not on the webinar can actually hear. You will all have 24 hours to watch it again, or some of the people who are not here and have registered will have a chance to. I'll send the link in the morning. Before I talk to you a little bit about LeadCon education, what we are doing, we can start with education. So Manja, you can maybe talk to them a little bit about your podcast and what you're doing at the moment.
Yeah, so we launched our first machine learning Serbia community. So for now, we have two podcasts, and we will be introducing the new guests. So you can watch our podcast on SoundCloud for Machine Learning in Serbia. You have our website, machinelearningserbia.rs, so you can watch it there. And also, especially for all the people on the webinar and everybody else, so you can download from our website, from our company, kagera.com. You can download our free guide how to transform your data into profit. So you can see, you will get like 5 emails we have a process of 9 steps and 3 phases, how we are doing with our clients from the beginning to the end. And you will get the emails, like 5 free emails where I will explain all our processes for you. So I will share the links to the guide, and it's a PDF, and you will get the 5 emails if you subscribe to it and download it. And also you should listen to our podcasts. And that's it for now, because we are expanding our machine learning Serbia, so it will be machine learning Balkans. So we are having meetings with different companies from Macedonia and Bosnia and Croatia. So keep us watching. So there will be a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks. Okay, guys, we are coming to the end of the webinar, and I want to talk with you a little bit about what we are doing with default design and with LeadCon. All of you who are here on the webinar will have a chance to be in second group of our LeadCon education if you are from Serbia. Unfortunately, it's only for people from Serbia because it's in Serbian, but it's an online education lasting 2 months, where we get really deep into how you can increase your online sales. And not only education, you get the ticket for the LeadCon conference, which is happening in September, when we will have some of the, well, I would say top of the top when it comes to marketing and Serbia. Some of the names that we have are Miroslav Varga. We are going tomorrow in Osijek to record his session. We are having Istok Pavlovic, probably people from Serbia knows about him. Marcel Majsen, who is the president of the e-commerce Croatia. Then we have famous Aleksandar Rašković, which is maybe the leading YouTube specialist in Serbia. Stefan Konchev, who is head of business development at Fishing Booker. He will tell us the story, how did they grow and get their specific clients. And we have this year as many foreign speakers as the ones who are from Serbia, like Vilko de Grey, John Burkhardt, Tarja Wolf. Tarja is great. I don't know if you heard about her, but she's doing excellent thing of how you can use emotions to increase conversions on your websites, on your landing pages. We have Tiffany Del Silva, who will talk about growth hacking, and Navid Moazes. You probably never heard about it, but he's the guy who is the best when it comes to digital summits, events like this. He is earning he earned more than 10 millions just by organizing this kind of events. And we will have some guests who in the studio who will increase the value by commenting on the sessions. Snežana Marković, one of our best copywriters, Ivan Minić, Miha Matilevski from Slovenia, great business advisor and mentor. Maybe you didn't hear about him. I heard about him recently. Great guy, very knowledgeable. I have the pleasure that he lives in Novi Sad, so I can approach him from time to time. He's also a fail coach, so he talks about those things. And that's it. I hope you like it. It wasn't perfect. It's the first one with LinkedIn Local Online. On the next one, we will talk about education. different kind of education, online, offline education for the team, personal education, employee branding, those kind of things. Dimitrije from my company will be the guest. Also, Josip Bošnjaković. I guess I didn't tell Josip that he will be a guest yet, but he's one of the famous, most known, let's say, knowledgeable coaches when it comes to NLP and sales. And also a young lady, Katarina Šoškić. I'm happy to have her. She started the blog talking about employer branding. And I want to have someone younger with Dimitrije and Josip in the studio and really share some different insights. Let us know in chat, how did you like it? Can we improve on something? Let's hear your impressions. I'm seeing that some people who I know are here, like Jovana, Sofia, Alexander. Maybe we don't know each other from in real life, just digital, but it feels like we know each other. So let us know, how did you like it? Now they want
From
to
my
respond
camera, aside from my camera, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed your company, guys. It was a really nice webinar. My first one, truth be told. So sorry if I went up kind of stuck in the middle of the conversation.
Yeah, icebreaker. Nice. Okay. Maya says, thanks, guys. It was great. Thanks, Maya. You were the first one giving us the feedback. Woo!
Yeah.
And maybe the only one. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll leave it at.
Yeah. It's actually also my first webinar. I was never before on a webinar. So
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, I'm expecting you guys to join me in the future also on this webinar and talk more about these things and other things. Jovana says, great topics. Thank you very much for everything. Stefan, I enjoyed very much. Just improve internet connection next time. It's not about internet connections. I had a great picture. It was all good. It just depends on each of the guests how their connection was, or maybe you have more things turned on your computer. Webinar Jam works like this. At first, it's a little bit shaky, but as we go on, the picture and the video gets more stable. That's just how it works. So thank you, guys. One more time, it was a pleasure talking with you about data and creativity. I didn't hear many people talking about it, so I'm happy that we got enrolled in the topic and share our perspectives and insights with the people on the webinar.
Thank you, Nemanja.
Bye bye, and see you
Thank
on
you.
the 5th of September in another LinkedIn online.
Yeah.
Of course.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.